reason we stopped was our brakes are not working, which I changed the bands and I just need to tighten it up, hopefully.
So you're taking the floorboards off to get to the
Yeah,
to the
we're
transmission.
gonna have to adjust the bands. And you know what? It's hard to get the floorboard when I have the Ruxstol in regular. Gonna have to see about what to do here. Let's see. We might be able to get it off, and then I'll either that. Maybe I'll start it real quick.
So you need to disengage the Ruxel?
Or actually engage it.
Oh, engage it. Okay.
See, I have this foot pedal
right
for my Ruxstol, and that ends up being a problem. So I'm going to start up real quick, because I've never been able to do much without driving it, and I'll just drive it a little bit down the road.
Okay.
Hopefully I can do it without even driving it. Now I can get the floorboard out. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is take off those 4 bolts. Original Ford had those bolts as screws, flathead screws, and I updated them to hex. It just doesn't make sense to me to try to fight with the flat screwdriver slot. Now, what's really interesting is if you study screws, the whole discussion of when flathead and all that. So it started with flathead, and all the Model Ts in the US were flathead. And there's a socket head, a square socket head, called a Robertson screw that became popular in Canada. And what's nice is you can't cam out on a Robertson screw. So a Robertson screw is just a little square head, and those, they started using it on the wood on Model T in Canada. And the idea was, for assembly, you didn't have screwdrivers coming out and stabbing your wood, which the Ford probably wouldn't have been as bad of a thing, but elsewhere. You can see all of these screws up here on the dash. Those are all flat. And you can imagine, just had to figure out how to get those on. Well, then came along Phillips. And
when did Phillips?
Somewhere before World War I, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And Phillips started doing his screws. I have to be careful here because I've shorted out my power switch here. So be careful. I'll put that right there. And so Robertson, knowing that he had the market of Ford in Canada, thought he was going to get the market in Ford here in the US. Now look, this is all new stuff. A little bit of cotton. That's all from this trip. So good old Robertson thought he had a slam dunk. And Ford was negotiating with him. And Robertson wanted to make all the screws and make all the money. And Ford didn't like that idea. And so he said no. And he went with, oops, that's the wrong way. He went with the Phillips screw.
Oh.
And I believe it's the Model A when you'll start seeing the Phillips.
Wow.
Okay. So my goal is to do a couple these, try to bring that up. But yeah, it ended up, we would have had Robertson screws, and not only would we have had them, Canada adopted them. And
Canada adopted Robertson screws.
yeah, they're
Okay.
very common in Canada, and they're not common at all here.
Are they, would you say, to this day?
Oh yeah, you can still.
Wow.
So, Phillips probably wouldn't near. Okay, so I like that, but I think I'm gonna give it a little bit more because I just don't want to have to do this again on this trip. Try 2 more clicks and let's see what happens. Okay, that should be a good amount of braking, and it still releases. Now, let's see. Yeah. And Ford, like with the coils, the KW coils, he required KW to allow Ford to make the coils, and that's how they had the exclusive rights, except for Ford. I'm really concerned the way this goes up and down. Not sure that's common. So is that common that the ear on the left goes down? Well, it does on the... Okay. I'm going to test each of these. So hold. Yeah, I guess all of them, as it tightens, it goes down. And for those who aren't familiar with the Ford transmission, this is the brake, and that's the one we just tightened. This is the reverse, and this is your low speed band. And at the same time the low speed band is activated, you can see this part moving. Now we have the brake on right now, and I don't want to mess with it with all the screws there. But that will, if you let go, there's a clutch in there, and all these discs will engage the clutch there. Anyways, I was just looking here, seeing how dirty things got in just the few miles. I drove it a bit to the gas station, I changed the oil, and then we've probably driven about 20 miles or so. And there's already some lining here, but it gets caught in this mesh here, and I imagine the more that gets caught, the finer the filtration will be. But that's what we call the filter on the Ford, just that screen there on the Model T. Okay, now I'll do the reverse steps. I'm going to put this on, and I'm going to get 2 corners in. And like anything, you always want to do it hand tight until you get everything on. And the center is a little tricky because I have that light bar. And now that I'm out here in the field and thinking if I lost a washer it'd be a real pain, I should probably weld these on. But what happens is when the brake is pushed, it pushes forward and will turn on the tail light. And so this sits up a little bit higher than the transmission cover. Now, for a short time they had flat transmission covers, and you go flat transmission cover, that would be a lot easier to make. was a little bit thicker metal probably, but why did they switch over to this transmission cover, and can you just use a flat one? Well, the short answer is, now that I have that filter in there, it doesn't matter. But because that directs the oil through the holes in the center of it, right into the center of the band. So as it's turning, the oil is going through. But if you didn't have that, you need this ridge here to drop the oil in between the bands. It keeps it well lubricated. So there's small stuff like that that I don't think you'd really ever guess of how much thought and engineering is there. But yeah, those holes, maybe I'll put a clip of the picture there, those holes. The purpose of them is, yeah, oil goes to the back, but a lot of the oil just goes through those holes. And after it starts catching stuff, there's not a lot of flow going through that screen. It slows it down.
And does that affect
the filtering? No, I think that's fine.
It still gets enough oil.
Yeah. As long as oil gets in that, the heavier stuff is going to settle back in there, and it won't ever come out. And then any metal stuff gets stuck to the magnets. Okay. And this I do snug, but don't want to rip the threads out. So, you know, knowing that this was originally designed for a screwdriver, so much easier. And when I found this little handy tool, yes, a ratchet's nice, and I have one, but this, you're not turning these very much. You adjust the length of the handle.
You have a better feel for it, huh?
Yeah. Okay. Now we need to do the belt. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna put the floorboards all back in. So time to put the floorboard back in. This bottom one, it's the trickiest one. So you have to get it around the Ruxstol pedal. Oh, that fell right in. And then the other ones are pretty straightforward.
And so the parking brake, it brakes both rear wheels.
Yeah, those are so the Model T brakes that you're using when you're driving are that band on the transmission. But your brakes are emergency brakes, similar to modern. There's a linkage back there directly connecting to it. I think we went to good old days.